Let's just jump right into it. Have you ever noticed how incredibly frustrating it is that all of our AI tools seem to live in completely different universes? I mean, think about your daily development grind for a second. You've got Claude writing some absolutely brilliant React code for you in one window, right? And then over in another window, you've got Gemini doing deep market research or churning through a massive data set. But they are completely siloed. There's zero crosstalk. So what happens? You end up manually copying and pasting context between windows, just desperately trying to keep everybody on the same page, while the models constantly forget what you told them 5 minutes ago. You're spending way more time managing the tools than actually doing the high-value work. It's literally like managing a team of genius-level employees who absolutely refuse to speak to each other, which forces you to be this exhausted middleman for every single conversation.
But what if you could finally change that? Well, the Cowork framework promises to do exactly this. One task, one dashboard, multiple agents across multiple platforms working in concert. We're talking about building the ultimate shared nervous system for all of your automation efforts. It completely eliminates all that friction of jumping between different interfaces by permanently solving the fragmentation problem. Instead of you constantly playing the middleman, the framework itself becomes the connective tissue. It lets your wildly diverse array of AI tools operate as a single, unified intelligence that just works directly for you.
So, welcome to this explainer. I am super pumped you're here. Today we're going to explore how to build a virtual AI corporation from the ground up. We'll be unpacking the Cowork framework, which, under the hood, is essentially a file system-based Model Context Protocol server. Now, if you aren't super familiar with the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, don't worry. Just think of it as a universal translator. It's this foundational layer that finally allows completely isolated AI tools to understand each other and share context seamlessly. Cowork takes that protocol and leverages it to give you one unified dashboard, totally transforming a chaotic, messy toolbox into a highly organized, multi-platform AI workforce.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The fragmented AI landscape. 2. Meet the Cowork framework. 3. How intelligent routing works. 4. Connecting remote AI brains. And 5. Workflows, from static to adaptive. Starting off with Section 1, the fragmented AI landscape and uniting the AI workforce.
Over 10. That is the number of different AI agent platforms Cowork supports through just a single pane of glass. I mean, think about the sheer relief of not having to learn 10 different command line interfaces or manage a dozen different API key setups across all these isolated environments. Whether you personally prefer Claude Code because of its incredible reasoning, or GitHub Copilot for that deep repository integration, or Hermes Agent for really specialized tasks, they are all instantly connected into one unified workforce. You get the diverse strengths of every single platform without paying that massive mental tax of constantly context switching.
Over 285. And actually, these aren't just empty shell connections waiting around for you to configure them. Right out of the box, Cowork is packed with over 285 pre-built expert agents. Think of them as your ready-to-deploy digital employees. You're not just getting a generic blank slate AI. You're getting a pre-configured senior React developer who immediately understands modern state management, or a really meticulous UX copywriter perfectly tuned to match your brand's tone, or a specialized security auditor that is literally ready to run on day one. All that heavy lifting of prompt engineering and persona creation, it's already done for you.
Now, to keep this massive roster of talent actually manageable, these agents are organized into 19 specialized divisions. Just like a real-world enterprise, you have dedicated departments for engineering, security, marketing, data science, legal, finance, you name it. But this isn't just for neat organization. By isolating these agents into specific departments, the system maintains strict context boundaries. Because, let's be real, you absolutely do not want your marketing AI hallucinating some random SQL queries just because it got confused overhearing the engineering AI's code snippets. This compartmentalization ensures that every expert stays laser-focused on their specific domain, which keeps their outputs incredibly sharp and relevant. The real magic here, though, is the cross-platform compatibility that uniting all these tools requires. It is, frankly, wild that a single system can effortlessly manage the underlying differences of all these distinct tools on the fly. You've got Claude Code using Markdown files loaded with YAML front matter. Codex operates using TOML files. Cursor relies on its own specialized MDC rules. Normally, getting all these different formats to play nice would require you to write endless, brittle custom integration scripts. But Cowork acts as that universal translator, seamlessly bridging the gap so these tools can collaborate natively as one totally cohesive team.
Moving on to Section 2.
How intelligent routing works, hiring the right expert automatically. So how do tasks actually get assigned when you literally have hundreds of experts just sitting there available? It happens through a super efficient two-stage routing process, where an orchestrator essentially acts as your CEO. Let's bring this to life a bit. Imagine you just drop a really vague request like, fix the new login bug straight into the system inbox. First, the CEO orchestrator instantly evaluates that request and routes it straight to the engineering division. Then, in step 2, it scans the engineering roster, completely bypasses the front-end designers, and hands the task directly to the specialized back-end authentication agent. And here's the kicker. That specific agent's entire persona and skill set instantly becomes the system prompt for the task. It's entirely automatic. It completely removes the need for you to sit there micromanaging who does what.
Section 3. Connecting remote AI brains, distributed compute, and reliability.
Okay. In the Cowork ecosystem, there is a very clear distinction between an agent and a brain. While agents provide the specialized knowledge and the personality for a specific task, the brains provide the raw horsepower. A brain is basically a named execution identity. It's just the combination of the underlying AI model, the platform it's running on, and its physical location in the real world. Think of it as the actual hardware and compute engine that breathes life into your digital employees. And the absolute best part? These compute engines are not restricted to just running locally on your laptop.
Cowork uses this brilliant zero-dependency remote client architecture. That means you can effortlessly connect external machines to create a massive distributed compute network. So if you have a beast of a desktop sitting across the office running Claude Opus, it can instantly declare itself to the network using the Register Agent tool, and it requires zero complex configuration to do it. Those remote machines just immediately start pulling pending tasks from your central server. And to make sure it's actually efficient, the system uses what's called atomic claims. That's really just a highly technical way of saying the system locks the task the precise millisecond a machine grabs it. This completely eliminates the risk of two machines accidentally doing the exact same work, so you avoid crossed wires and completely sidestep duplicate API billing costs.
This distributed architecture builds into unparalleled reliability through something called the brain fallback chain. Honestly, just think about the peace of mind this brings. You never have to wake up to a massively failed pipeline just because some API went down for 3 seconds or you hit a temporary usage cap. If a primary model, say Claude Opus, crashes or gets rate limited halfway through a crucial task, the task doesn't just die in the queue. No way. The dispatcher instantly and automatically hands it over to the next brain in your predefined chain. It seamlessly falls back to something like Sonnet and completes the job successfully. It is a true set-it-and-forget-it system where no task is ever left behind.
Section 4. Workflows, from static to adaptive. Executing standard operating procedures.
When it comes to actually getting complex work done, Cowork handles standard operating procedures in 2 very distinct ways. First up, we have DAG mode. DAG stands for Directed Acyclic Graph, but honestly, you can just think of this as a strict one-way assembly line. It is highly deterministic. You pre-plan the entire pipeline, step by step, and the system dutifully executes it exactly as written. Contrast that with orchestrated mode. This one is highly adaptive and entirely AI-driven. Instead of a rigid assembly line, you provide a library of possible steps. It acts way more like fluid jazz improvisation. The orchestrator actively evaluates the real-time data it's receiving and dynamically decides the absolute best next move based on those immediate results. And these workflow modes aren't just theoretical concepts. They drive actual shipped company workflows. Take the idea to launch pipeline, for example. It is incredible to watch a workflow start with a simple high-level text prompt to the CEO, and then autonomously move all the way down the chain to dispatching digital engineers who write, test, and push real executable code directly to your servers via GitHub Actions. Or consider a finance close pipeline, where an AI bookkeeper reconciles hundreds of transactions and directly prepares a final summary for CFO sign-off. These workflows completely prove that the system can handle deeply complex, multi-stage business operations flawlessly. Now, while the core server technology is completely open source and free to build upon, there is a streamlined production upgrade path available. For developers who are just exhausted by living entirely inside dark terminal windows, Cowork Pro, which is $59, adds those advanced workflow templates we literally just discussed. It offers priority technical support, and most importantly, it unlocks the full interactive web UI dashboard. It's really designed for teams who want the complete, polished production suite and that visual management layer right out of the box without having to build it themselves. So as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on.
If you no longer have to jump between a dozen different isolated AI tools, if you don't have to manage conflicting API keys or endlessly copy and paste context just to get a simple project across the finish line, how will this fundamentally change your daily development grind? Just think about the sheer number of hours you could reclaim every single week. Imagine applying this unified, shared nervous system to your own siloed, repetitive tasks. The possibilities for scaling your personal output are absolutely massive. Thanks so much for exploring this framework with me today.